This is Magic Silage, episode 12 of Old Man's Land, a Farming Simulator 19 gameplay by Service Farm. Today, we need to divide our field number 3 into 3 and 4. I'll be using a roller for this to simply restore the grass that was originally there. Next, we need to take care of our silage, and we will do a magic disappearance trick there. You will see. We'll be building a BGA to not only get a higher monetary return, but also to get the digestate to save on fertilizer cost. That's going to be a double whammy right there. We need to check for trees that are in the way of our to be extended field number 3 and to be extended field number 2. We also have to check up on crop rotation. As for the AI side of things, I'll be covering how we use assumptions and what this means for training AI models. Last but not least, we will discover quite a bit about Julie. So come on in and make yourselves at home. Good morning, Old Man's Land. Today is Friday, late winter, year 1. It is currently 8:15 and plus 3 degrees Celsius. Today's weather forecast is overcast and windy. We are expecting some rain overnight and around a balmy 10 degrees tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Okay. We need to clean up the wood that we still have on the trailer there, and then we need to double check what we need to do on the other side with the newly purchased piece of land. I also want to actually build a BGA for our silage because it's a little bit more income, and we also get the digestate out of it so we can actually save on fertilizer cost. So let's get started with cleaning up this wood here that I couldn't properly move yesterday anymore. Yesterday in game, that is. Yes, you're too heavy, but we can move you. And yes, I take a shortcut here with not cleaning off the branches. You're still too heavy. And the beeping that you're hearing in the background is the garbage trucks outside. We are living in, it's a kind of a cul-de-sac, so they actually need to do some back and forth to get around the corners in the end and service all the houses. Are you going to be behaving or? Yes. Okay. So we have that cleaned up. Now we need to do a couple things. Okay, I'm going to be going into the eagle perspective here. You kind of can't see where the roads are. So here's actually the road junction. There's one road. Up there is another road. And let me pull in our map. And this one here. Going down here, I just drive down the road. Everything to the right here is going to be the extension of our field number 2. So we have a few trees that we need to get out of here. On the left, I'm going to be leaving for grass right now. Or I doubt that I will be getting around to do proper fields there right away. Now we're actually outside, so yes. This is quite a number of. So we're somewhere in between here. So that is quite a number of trees that we actually need to take out. But this also means that I'm getting a little bit low on trees because I'm taking this many out. And I want to put in a BGA. So let's have a look at that quickly on the map. So here's our farm. I don't want to necessarily see it from the farm. We own these 3 at the moment. We could buy one down here and put it down here but I think this is pretty hilly. Down here we would actually be seeing it. BGA is not that nice to look up on. We have the sawmill over there, so we could put it in here. Actually, I have an idea. I just mentioned that I'm taking out this many trees. How about we plant a few additional trees in this section here? Or do we leave that for grass as well? We could plant here more to make this a little bit more a wooded area, and also down here once we're actually getting these. That is a good idea. Let's create a little bit of a wooded area around here as a windbreaker for the farm. I like that. So let's leave that. You know what we could do? We could put the BGA right into this corner here. Right in here. Into this corner. Yeah, well, let's do this. But I also wanted to get the roller. You know what? I'm going to be getting a roller first thing. Because then I actually can mark the roads properly to place the BGA not in the middle of everything, but somewhere where it is making sense. Where's this road down here? There it looks like the road is going along. So yes, let's get the roller. I want to put in the pathway into our current field 3 to actually divide it into our field 3 and 4. Distract the traffic. When I'm down here, do I need something else? I don't think so. For the BGA we will then need a slurry tank actually. We need to look into that. That's not a priority. So we have this roller here. Oh, I have this mod here. Doesn't actually see. Okay, let's get this one. Design color, let's go with. That looks good. Yep, let's do that. Custom drum, factory new, that's all fine. Should we just lease it? For 270. Yeah, let's do that. We're not buying it, we're just leasing it. And 3 meters. We could go with wider. 6 meters now. Yeah, let's go with 4 meters. Base cost is 158 per hour, 165. Why is this now more expensive than the other one? No lights. We don't need anything special here. That is 4 meters. Let's do this. Let's see, that's 367, 359. Good enough for leasing. Interesting. Looks like it's heavy. Putting the back of our tractor into the ground. I'm considering the leasing of the roller, as I'm doing it not as a lease in the sense of a credit. It's more like a rental. The gameplay has a rule of no loan, so a long-term lease would not be acceptable, but the short-term rental is. How does that look? We can go a little bit further to the left, and for that one I'm going to be actually going outside the cab. Because I don't wanna to delete what I have already. Do I have a piece of wood laying here? Yes. I like that. I actually needed to select the tractor to be able to turn off the engine. Interesting. Actually, I think it's in silos. We also will need a hay loft. Old straw, yes. That is the one that I want to build. And I probably actually want to make sure that I also can add an extension tank. This grain silo holds 200,000. I wanted to double check one thing. I don't have this large one in there. I was looking for if there is a different... I had to look at a mod for a different grain silo. But I need to double check if that is not way too big for our farm. We need to put you here, so we have here, that is the drop, the square, the rectangular one there, the large one, that is the trigger field for depositing the silage, and where this arm is coming out, that is where the digestate actually comes out. So I probably want to, there's the road, so this way we are assuming traffic on this road. We are not blocking any traffic. Now the question is, do we want to place an extension tank as well? I think this holds about 200,000. Extension tank holds 200,000, so I would assume this one is about the same. We're getting, with this one, we're getting 44,000 out of 100,000 liters of silage in a bunker. The one that we have full right now, we have about 300,000 liters in there, which gives us 132,000 liters of digestate. We are 65% full with this one bunker alone. So it probably is a good idea. I simply check. Yes, we could easily add. Okay, I'm not going to be placing it right now because I don't need it yet. So here you go. And that is a little bit unfortunate how this worked out with the landscaping here. Looks like I actually need to go into the landscaping tool. I'm not very versed in that landscaping tool, so I'm not very good with this. Probably should check out a couple tutorials to actually even that out a bit. That looks like crap. Yes, I need to check a few tutorials. Actually, how to do proper landscaping. Raise, lower, smooth is the center one, okay. Let's do that then. Let's smooth you out a bit here. That looks better. Now let's just hope that the trigger still works. Yeah, that's okay-ish. So let's return the roller. Ground is still frozen. We can't create our field, so I guess first order of business then would be to cut down the trees, and if we have time left, we are going to be moving silage, recouping some of the monies. We have a 150 horsepower tractor. This is 23,009 meters. This one takes the full 150, goes 12 meters. That's 8,000 liters. That's nearly double. You know what? Let's take this and take it used. Then it's 42,000. And if we go with narrow tires, we wouldn't be damaging crops. That's a big tank for the small tractor. This means we also need to consider sooner or later to actually get a little bit larger tractor. But I actually want to see how well we can cope with the equipment that we have for this year. Can we get over 1 year or over the next season, growing season? because we will need we're going to be having wheat this year. Wheat and barley, I think it is. So two crops worth straw. And that's why I'm thinking about getting this hay shed so that we can store our straw and potentially some hay if we make some, so that we have it in case we're going into animals. So yes, there you go. It's 200,000 liters. That's what I wanted to double check. I'm going to be collecting that one stick over there. There you are. That's outside. Where does this road go? Goes down there. There it goes. Julie stopped over last night. She knew that our farmer and Jean-Luc had been talking. Not surprising. Julie came over because it is important to her to be understood and to be transparent. Julie's story. Her father, Pierre, was the local fire chief. He was well respected and a central authority in the community. Her mother just up and left a couple years earlier. There was no explanation, and to this day the details how, why and where are still a mystery. Her dad died while fighting a smaller wildfire in this valley. There have been several details in this that do not sound right, but that lent itself to multiple explanations. One was how the fire truck was found. It was backed into a spot that only left one root out. He would not have done that. Neither the backing in, nor only one root out without very good reason. How the equipment was set up did not follow the typical pattern. He was a stickler for these patterns, as they make every firefight efficient and everybody knows what to expect and where to expect it. The fire brigade was all volunteers. He was the local fire marshal and led the firefighters for many years. Some of the equipment was not connected properly and would not have worked as it was set up. His usual radio jackets did not follow his usual pattern, but the messages themselves did not reveal anything wrong. Numerous external experts were brought in to investigate. The findings were inconclusive. Yes, there were these oddities, but also multiple explanations and reasons it could be done this way. The whole scene was pretty burnt up, so a lot of the evidence was gone and many clues with it. This is also a part that was odd. The fire was intense and very hot. No accelerant was found, and the fire ran itself out very quickly. The years prior were a little drier than average, but it was not the very dry and hot part of the season yet. and this area usually does not see wildfires. It left the community uneasy to this day. Worse than losing Pierre was and is the uncertainty of why and what happened. As nothing definitive could be said, not many possibilities could be eliminated either, including foul play. It did not help the situation that her mother disappeared under unexplained circumstances a couple years earlier. By this time it was known that she left and was now in Morocco. But no more details were known. It also did not help that our farmer's uncle did stop participating in the community and secluded himself the same summer Pierre died. He was up to then active in the community, always lent a helping hand and welcomed everyone with open arms. Not anymore, total change. Pierre and our farmer's uncle also were very good buddies. Too many weird and not well explained things happening in the same valley at the same time are only good for speculation and the rumor mills, but don't foster a healthy community. What it meant for Julie is determination. She wants to find out more, if at all possible, and spare others from experience what she did go through. She trained, she educated herself. She is laser focused on cracking this case. What she did find out is that her mother left after getting involved with someone attached to a drug-related group out of Morocco. She also found out that she was found dead about 3 years after Pierre's death. The circumstances are more or less as can be expected with not much detail known or discoverable. And now these suspect fire in the valley to the west that have a lot in common with the fire that killed Pierre. That's actually relatively funny. It doesn't matter if you take that log balanced or not. As long as you take it, you're just carrying it. So you actually can grab those logs at an end that you can nicely see it and maneuver it and just move it this way. That's what I thought. There's only this one. Let me show you what I mean. You can take it right there at the end with one hand and just carry this whole stick. You see it's 8 meters long, 7.9 meters long and 75 kilograms, and you just grab it at the end and carry it this way. Now, do we want to cut this one out or not? Yeah, I think And yes, ground is still frozen. So let's go Eagle and see if we have everything. Yep, that looks about right. Yep. Let's drop in the trailer and then see if we can grind as many as possible tree stumps there. Okay, let me quickly check. How is the repair status looking? Oh, we're good. Ooh, tree stump grinder is moved to where we need it. Now let's get our trailers. And I actually want to reconfigure our small one. That milling machine is actually picking it up. We need to get you out of the way. Okay, that was not clever. Let's see what happens. We get lucky. Tip side left. Just wanted to double check. So let me know in the comments what you think we should do for our potential next tractor. Get a second one of the one that we have, or go a number bigger? Should we stay with the fence or go with a different brand? Let me know what you think. And now let's see. Yes, this BGA takes it fast enough, as fast as we actually dump it here, or close to. So we should be fine with just emptying our bunker into the BGA. So let's calculate how many loads will we need. We've got 296,000 liters in there. We carry 33,000 on a go. That's 9 loads. Yep, 9 loads gets us 297. pulled up front a bit too aggressively. Yep, PGA keeps up with pulling it into the tank. You can see at the windmill that we have a windy day, like the weather forecast said. We have talked some about how bias is introduced by how we process the flood of information the world around us throws our way. There is one more important piece that we have not considered. If we would process all information all the time, we simply would be overwhelmed in no time. So, how do we cope with this? We create a construct based on assumptions and expectations, especially for the known parts, or I should say more precisely, the presumed known parts. We then compare the actual to the presumed. How does this look? Imagine walking through a door into a room you know very well. Let's say a very good friend of yours. You know the room. You know how the room looks like. You know how the room is arranged. You know what to expect when you are walking into the room. This is your visualization of what you are going to be walking into, literally. You probably have done that dozens of times. How long did it take you to recognize that something was different? This is the difference between reality and our expectation or assumption. It takes a while to actually penetrate that a change has happened. It can be something subtle. It can be a different haircut on your friend, or a different hair color. It could be a slight different arrangement in the room. It could be a different picture. It could be a different TV. Something is different, and it takes you quite a while to actually figure out what is different. There is the feeling that something isn't right, but you can't put your finger on. You can't figure it out. This is the assumptions that we're working with, the expectations. And this also is in our data that we're generating, because we are assuming how something works. We have an expectation of how something works. We are structuring how we expect how something works based on these assumptions. But does it actually work this way? Is it the true raw data that we are collecting? No, it is not. It is an interpretation of what we think how it is working. There is already the bias into how we are collecting the data, because we think we know how something is functioning. We are structuring it in this way. And this is introducing the bias of how someone is thinking, of how someone's understanding is of how something is working in the structure of how the data is collected, how the categories are being created, what is considered outliers, what is considered relevant data. And all this filters into what is being used to train AI algorithms. This means that the data gets created structured. It has a bias. The data collected itself does not necessarily. the underlying structure, the underlying way of collecting the data, the underlying way of selecting the data to collect has structure. A fairly recent example that was kind of in the news but not quite that loud, that reflects this very well, actually is from Tesla. It was found out that the so-called autonomous driving algorithm has trouble recognizing people of color. It doesn't have problems recognizing people, it has problems recognizing people of color. And the issue simply was that the folks training the algorithm and creating the training datasets thought of people as people. So they put images of people into the data. What they assumed images of people are into the data. They forgot two things. First of all, an algorithm does not understand the concept of people. It compares patterns and pictures that represent them. The folks had their own expectations, their own assumptions. So people are people and were predominantly white. This results in the algorithm recognizing the patterns on visuals that match with lighter skin color to be people. It's not because the algorithm is racist. It's not because anybody designed the algorithm or the complete machine learning pipeline, for that matter, to treat people differently. The root cause is in our assumptions. And in the example of Tesla, the oversight that what is very clear for us, what is unconscious for us, is devastatingly relevant to the ML pipeline. It does not understand the concept of people. It works with patterns of colored pixels on visuals. Oops. I'm going to demonstrate these assumptions to you right now. You have 3 letters on a paper showing. What do you think it means? If you said, "What the fuck?" you are very wrong. Let me complete the sequence. Do you see it now? WTF stands for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you use the Central European start of the week, it's even in the middle of the sequence. And that gets us to the next example. When you're talking about a week, you automatically have a start of the weekday, how you would write a week down. For some folks it's Monday, for others it's Saturday, or Sunday, or Friday. You see where this is going? Just because the start of the week is very simple and very clearly defined for you, it's not the same for everyone. Same for dates. There is month, day, year, month, year, month, day. In our time, you don't know which one you encounter. All of a sudden, something as simple as a date becomes not clear, becomes murky, becomes questionable. I could go on. Dollar. Which one? US, Canada, New Zealand, Hong Kong. There are more than 20 different dollars. Temperatures, time, weights, and so on. Everything that is known for you, that is very clear for you personally, on a larger scale becomes very unclear, very murky, very not defined. And these are actually easily measurable and quantifiable examples. Language is a complete different matter. Your expectations and assumptions make the data you consider very clear potentially dangerously skewed. How do you think a machine learning algorithm that has nothing but that data to learn from will perform? Based on the patterns and assumptions the data and data structure is based on. That is interesting. 13,778 liters. So our 296,000 liters got a really odd number. Somehow those numbers don't add up. I need to go back through the recording and actually see how many complete loads we did. So, out of the 296,000 liters of silage that was in the bunker as per the bunker display, how many did we actually get out? Okay, looks like we had a snow melt. Instant snow melt. This trailer reacts a little bit more aggressively. We need it from the other side. So, okay, with this, the working day is over. 16:47. One thing I wanted to check is planting season. So theoretically our planting season for wheat and barley is starting tomorrow. We have wheat and barley. That is what we need in our, definitely in our fields 1 and 2. That is 3 and 4. We probably should actually spread this out a little bit and see where we go with that. We actually could go 3 and 4 apart here. Soybean, go to canola to 1. Yeah, let's do that. And then 1 soybean, 3 to barley. Okay, so, and this means we need to plant barley, canola and wheat. Canola we also need to put in the first 3 days. So it's going to be a long day tomorrow worth putting in the new fields. With this is the end of year 1, a late winter, how do we call this episode? We need a name for this episode. We got a BGA. So BGA. What can we do with the BGA? Silage BGA, digesting a BGA. Yeah, that's a weird one. Let's get over to our barbecue. Get our music going. And let's get this going here and see what can we do for the name. While I'm thinking about that, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Look at those trees go over there in this wind. That is marvelous. This is episode 12 of Old Man's Land, a Farming Simulator 19 gameplay by Service Farm. You have a subscribe button coming up. You've got a link to the playlist coming up. You know what to do with those. We need a name for this episode. I'll come up with something. You have seen it when you clicked on it, so you already know what it is. I don't know yet. Thanks for watching, and peace.